Hello! If you are wanting to overcome past limitations, then this will interest you. So, overcoming trauma and how to recognize if you have it might sound like a strange question, but let me tell you more. Just hang on a second. Hi, I'm Will Perry, and I help make complex theories simple. It's not good enough to understand, we need to take action. I'm not clinically trained, but I've been an executive coach since 2001. I was head of action learning at the BBC. But in the last 13 years, I've been focused on this one question. Why do we get so stuck, and what's it got to do with this shadow side? How I help people. Firstly, I can do it for you. I can work really intensely, closely, or I can do it with you in the small online groups. Or you can do it yourself with the online program. But also I've got lots of free content and free programs, so come and find out more. Do like, subscribe and share. But here is the video of the day. And that's me, video of the day. What a handsome chap he is. So, the thing to overcoming past trauma, or even realising whether you have it or not, is to know that there's a core belief that you need to address. And by past trauma, I mean literally this one from your past and to where you are now. The difference between that's the past trauma, but you might have it like you might know it was a traumatic event, but it might be a trauma that you're unaware of because that was just the normality of your environment growing up around alcoholism. Sounds strange when I said it. Alcoholics, there we go. Growing up around abuse, a lack of empathy, a lack of emotional warmth, this lack of nurturing. This is all traumatic to the development of our brain and the aspects, the emotional maturity that we need as adults who perform well without limitations. However, it's blimmin' difficult to get to achieve all that. So what we get left with is in this day and age what we call trauma. It's kind of normal, it's natural, but how to overcome it so that we can achieve the things we want to do rather than get stuck in that position of, if you know, that real difficult, like not understanding what's holding us back, and it's like, why can't I do this? And the frustration and the depression, the range of emotions that we go through to try and break through whatever we're trying to break through. And it could be really blooming difficult. Looks like if there's a delay in the recording, I apologise for that. I'm not sure why, but if not, cool. It's just showing up on my screen as a delay. So you might know, what it is in your childhood that's causing, your difficulty now. But maybe you can't seem to be able to shake it off, And what the brain does with trauma is an interesting thing. That's a brain. It's perfectly normal. It normalizes all this behavior because it happens so much. Your environment that you grew up in, or a specific trauma or a series of traumatic events, it normalizes it. Normally, as children, sexual either harassment or abuse, things that happen to children have, the brains of children, they can't deal with it in the way that adults might deal with it and process it and understand it. They blame themselves. It's all this stuff that you know already. However, then the brain just normalizes it, and you have to get on with life. Everything just becomes normal. And what often happens is compartmentalism. This part of the brain just where it boxes it and doesn't know what to do with it, so it hides it from you. And I've worked with many people who remember a traumatic event. To I stutter on that one because it's like, wow, how could you forget that? But I've heard it so many times. It's like you have to forget it because you cannot process it at that time or subsequent to that time. You can't process it. You can't. The external world seems normal and everything points to, you make all this stuff mean that it must be you. So you have to work harder, pedal harder, keep people pleasing, treading on eggshells, whatever it is. And that just becomes normal. And the brain is perfectly coped and equipped to do that and just become normal. And that's normal. That's normal. That's how our brains work. Normalize stuff to just carry on, cope with. There's a problem identified. It's in here. We can't do anything about it, so we just carry on. That's what happens to trauma, and trauma in the widest sense. So, you can't do anything about it. You can't adjust it when it's going on. You can't go, stop going into normal. This isn't normal. It's, because you're not equipped at that time to do anything about it. And it becomes this negative belief. And that's the stuff that kind of I find interesting and deal with, help people deal with, and see that it's a negative belief that's formed, and that's deep hidden in our subconscious. I always go down here for our subconscious because it somehow seems deeper than the brain. So it's deep in our subconscious, but that's what we need to deal with. That's what we need to address. Your negative belief stays hidden from you, always stays hidden from you, and you think the problem is something else. So what you address as the problem is not usually the problem. So you might be there looking and thinking, the problem is the money. If my situation was different, money was better, then I would be able to, and that would solve the problem. However, it's not. You might think, oh, well, if the kids weren't doing what the kids do currently, then the pesky kids, then this wouldn't be the problem. It might be the social, your friends, what's going on in your social circle, the people around you, if they weren't behaving in that sort of way, then this would be all right. Then this wouldn't be the situation. It might be your partner. Going around this way, it might be your partner. If they weren't doing what they were doing, if they wouldn't, if they would just be better, if they would just change their behavior, if they would take responsibility, if they would do, you can see the blame thing going on here, but it isn't always as obvious just as blame. It feels like the lack of control. It might be the pesky pet that's annoying, or you might think it's the home that you've got, and that's a bigger issue, a deeper issue, one that's less easy to solve. However, all this stuff, you might kind of get this comes back to you. But it's really difficult to think it can't all be, because if it was me, then it would be easy to solve, right? It would be easy for me to then go, right, I'm going to take control of it. But because this is bloody hidden, it's hidden from us in here, down here. Because it's so hidden, we actually believe that it's all the other stuff going on. We believe that, and we can't see how it can be anything other. So the first thing we need to tackle is that negative belief. That's the thing that we need to tackle and explore. What is my negative belief? I can't do two things at once. Sorry, just a man. Is that a belief? Just a humour, actually. So this negative belief, that's the thing that we need to tackle. And then that frees you up to be able to change all of these things, which is really cool. But of course, it takes work. It doesn't go ping, 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 because you've changed your belief. Ping, 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 ping. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Just a minute. I'm just changing my belief. Ping, 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 ping. Everything changes. Isn't that cool? It doesn't work like that. It all takes application, consistency, work, and everything like that. But that's a level playing field now, suddenly, rather than it being tilted against you. All right? So your negative belief tilts everything against you. So once you change your belief, then what you're effectively doing, I'm going to have to change this to partial. What you're effectively doing is saying that, yes, I've now got control to change and to influence all these things. The beliefs that your kids have is so linked to you, and you can change all these things. You can adjust how you are around your pets and your kids. You can adjust how you are around money, how you can adjust all this. You can have more being able to say no to the people in your world, your friends, the people that are trying to use you, manipulate you, and I'm sure you've got friends that kind of give more than take more than they give. That's the one. So you can have an influence over all this stuff. It might take a while to sort out because it doesn't just happen. But you then have the control that you can adjust all of this stuff. And that's a really cool and freeing and empowering place to be. So does this make sense to you? Can you relate to this? Do you believe this? And that makes the negative belief into this is going to be clever, a positive belief. But it takes work and consistency and application and every day. It's that everydayness, and that's how health works. Your health, you can't just do that by eating salad one day. It has to be, not that it's only salad, but you have to have the balance. You have to have the exercise. You have to, all of that every day. And it's the same up here with your belief. Absolutely the same. So my invitation to you is, if you haven't taken the test already, take the free test. Come and explore where it is. Ask me for the link or whatever if you can't find it. Come and ask about the program I'm doing, because I'm giving people the tools to be able to go through this and helping them. And I'm building the new iteration of my program, my online program. As we go. So it isn't, I'm not waiting for like 6 months down the line and then going, it's done. Come and join me now. You be part of the process. And I'm going to actually give you more things at less price, because you're going to have to wait for the program to be built. But what you're going to get is more time with me in that process. So if you want to change kind of this, how this is for you, change the arrows from the control for you, rather than it being out of control. If you want to change your negative belief, if you can see how that your belief is influencing your decisions and your environment, and how that comes from trauma, go and explore Gabor Mate particularly. He really emphasizes beautifully how childhood trauma impacts us now, and how changing that is the thing to change. Go and explore. If you don't know him, go and explore some of his videos. It's just encapsulates it beautifully for me. But come and find out about the steps to fly, the steps that I want to take people through to help them overcome that, to get that control, and ultimately have that freedom to fly. And it's a lovely, empowering thing. But it does take work, but you need the tools in the right place and know how to use them and when to use them. So that's the stuff that we're working through on the beta program. Or join in 6 months plus when it's all done there, and it'll be a higher price. That's cool as well. But if you like a bargain, if you want to, anyway, all that stuff, I won't go to. But I'm quite excited by it. So if this is interesting to you, do come and find out more. I hope this resonates. Hope this has been interesting to you. If it's just a value to you, thank you. Do comment to get involved. Do share this stuff. All right, many thanks. Speak to you soon. Have an awesome rest of the day. Bye-bye.